Good evening, I'm Duke Root, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. Yesterday, the Nebraska volleyball team advanced to the Elite Eight after sweeping Georgia Tech. They will host the number 3 seed Arkansas tomorrow at 5 p.m. in the regional final. In addition to moving on, the Huskers also became the first female sport in NCAA history to draw 250,000 home fans in a single season. Thursday's attendance of 8,580 brings Nebraska's total to 255,953, which Coach Cook says played a huge role for his team.
There's electricity in Devaney. You can feel it, you can sense it. It comes from our crowd. And again, I think there's going to be a lot of pent-up excitement with our crowd, to see and witness a regional against two great teams that are going to play their hearts out. This is what college sports is all about, and there's a lot on the line for this, and it's going to be a really, really competitive match, and that's what it takes this time of year to win a regional. You're going to have to dig down deep.
We'll hear more from Coach Cook later on in the show. Today in the MLB, the Boston Red Sox acquired outfielder Tyler O'Neill in a trade from the St. Louis Cardinals. In return, the Cardinals received 2 pitchers. O'Neill has dealt with injuries lately, which held him out of 91 games this past season. In those games, he had a batting average of .231 and 9 home runs. Our sports ticker is sponsored by the 1890 Initiative. Do you want to support Husker student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If so, visit 1890nebraska.com. Coming up next is Hour 1 of Sports Nightly, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Now Minnesota outside roll shot. Walker block back and it drops. Another block by the Big Red. Bergen, Riley, Becca, Alec, Nebraska piling those babies.
Fury and White stopping at the foul line after Jazz Shelley. Unguarded 3. You betcha! Jazz Shelley with a Central Valley Egg 3 to start the third.
Against Lawrence on the other end. Lays it up. Shot blocked by Williams. Into the hands of Lawrence. The baseball pass and the jam. The jamola by Gary on the other end.
What a block by Bryce Williams to get that one started. Juwan Gary cherry picking after the badly missed 3.
Served by Laney. Bad pass, and that's an ice. They did it. Conference champions. All by themselves. And the players dogpile. Oh, look at that emotion released. That's a happy bunch of Huskers and so deserving.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Just me tonight. Jessica's got a well-deserved night off tonight, so it's just going to be the Sharpie taking you through the next couple of hours. Hope you had a great day today. Hope everybody's ready for a big weekend. Probably a lot of Christmas shopping needs to be done. I know in my house, I certainly have some of those things to get done this weekend, and obviously some volleyball, a huge volleyball match tomorrow night at the Devaney Center, 5 o'clock for serve, 4 o'clock for pregame coverage here on the network. It is the regional final, Nebraska and the Arkansas Razorbacks tomorrow night. The winner makes their way to the Final Four next week in Tampa. All 4 regional finals are tomorrow. They start at 3 o'clock. And just FYI, ESPN has 2-hour blocks for each match. Well, unless you have a sweep, they don't usually just go 2 hours. Sometimes you can get 4 sets close to just a little over 2 hours, but any 5th setter, and that's going to go way beyond that. In fact, last night, I don't know how many of you made it to the end of the Stanford-Arizona State match that did not start last night until about 11:45 our time. I think it was after 1:30 when it ended, with Stanford moving on. In fact, it's really been chalky. And when I say that, it means the top seeds have really advanced their way through. All number 1s are left. 3 of the number 2s are left. The only 3 seed that's left is Arkansas. So everything else has gone to chalk to this point in time. You have Louisville and Pitt, Big East foes, who've already played twice this year, will play in the Pitt regional final tomorrow. That's the first match at 3. Then you got Nebraska, the 1, Arkansas, the 3. That's at 5. 7 o'clock tomorrow night, you have the Wisconsin region Wisconsin 1, Oregon 2. And then the late night match at 9 is Stanford, the Cardinal, and the Texas Longhorns. And my goodness, did Texas pull one out of the fires last night. As Tennessee had a match point in set 4, couldn't finish it. Longhorns rally, win set 4, and then win 16-14 in the 5th to stay alive. So the defending champ's still alive. Should be a great day of volleyball tomorrow. We will talk a lot of volleyball this whole show. Lauren Cook West. Whoa, how about that for a guest, folks, on a Friday night? She's going to be here in a couple minutes. We'll get her take on this season, this team, and a little bit of an advanced scout on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Looking forward to that. We also, this weekend, will have basketball. The Husker women start their conference play tomorrow in East Lansing against Michigan State. They'll get that game underway at 1. Pre-game coverage with Matt Coatney, Jeff Grease will start at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon here on most of these same Husker radio network stations. And the men back in action Sunday, big game. After the last two have gone the wrong direction for Fred Hoiberg's team, they host Michigan State. 5:30 at PBA, 4:30 for pregame coverage. We'll have some clips from Coach Hoiberg, who met with the media earlier today to preview that game. Hour number 2, John Cook had his mandatory press conference today for the NCAA. We'll play some of the highlights of that. Duke had a little bit of that in his ticker just moments ago. We'll play some more of that from Coach Cook coming up in hour number 2. And Jessica, yesterday, after the win over Georgia Tech, did catch up with Meritt Beason. We'll have that conversation for you in the second hour as well. And it's your show. If you want to add a comment or two, our phone lines, text lines, both open for you, 402-413-2400. Some of the lights at the football stadium are on, although I think it's going to be a fairly quiet weekend. Not many official visits really lined up during this month. Because most of the young men who are committed, and right now there's 25 commits to this class that will sign on the 20th, have already taken their officials. So they've already been here. So not much. Maybe next weekend there might be a couple more. And there may be some visitors in the coming days that are coming through the transfer portal. And a lot of smoke out there about Kyle McCord, the Ohio State quarterback, that one, he's been offered, and 2, that he might be making a visit to Lincoln in the coming days. Obviously, football's not going to confirm that, but there's a lot of smoke out there that Nebraska has extended a scholarship offer to the starting quarterback for this past year, Kyle McCord from Ohio State, who led the Buckeyes to an 11-1 start. So I think that could be happening in the coming days. Some reports that he might even be here Monday for a visit to Lincoln, but we'll stay all over that. And dude, there is one of the quarterbacks that Nebraska has kicked the tires on that is off the market, and that is Baylor's Blake Shapen. It came out just within the last hour that Shapen is going to Mississippi State. So he is committed to the Bulldogs. They have a new head coach in Jeff Levy, who was Oklahoma's offensive coordinator this past year. So Shapen leaves Baylor, lands at Mississippi State to be a Bulldog. So that's one guy that it was reported earlier this week that Nebraska went to visit, that they went and visited Will Howard at K-State. He has not yet made a decision. They went to Waco and saw Shapen. They went to Columbus to go visit with McCord, and they went out to Pullman, Washington to see Cam Ward. So one of those 4 off the table now, and Shapen, the Baylor quarterback. So scratch that. If you're playing quarterback bingo, scratch that square. Shapen is off the board and headed to Mississippi State. So a lot of moving parts. I don't think, and I said this earlier in the week, I don't think Nebraska is going to have a huge number of transfer portal additions. I would put the over-under at about 5. I don't know that it goes much above 5. Maybe, it should be maybe 4. I think that I think it's pretty obvious that they want to get a quarterback. They want, I think, probably to get a running back, an offensive lineman, maybe a linebacker. I think that may be the point. Maybe now that Princewell's brother from Florida is in the portal, maybe you kind of look at that and go through that. So maybe you find some of that. But I don't think it's going to be 10, 12, 15. I mean, Nebraska's done that the last couple of years. They've added that many numbers in the portal. I don't think that's going to be the case this year. And part of the reason is because the Huskers are a little heavy in numbers. You get 85 scholarships. Well, you think about it, Nebraska's got 25 young men committed to sign in the period on December the 20th, that's signing day. We had 11 young men who went on senior day and walked. And those 11, we had 25 that walked, but 11 are done. Their eligibility is up. Guys like Murray, Hugh, some of those players, they're out. Their eligibility has been exhausted. So we've now added some names to that list, like Blaze Gunnarsson, who took his name out. You added to the portal Jake Applegate earlier this week. So you're now probably in the mid-teens that are leaving the program. So you feel if Nebraska was at 85 and they were close to that this semester, you lose 15, that gets you to 70. Well, you got 25 committed, that gets you to 95. So you got a bit of a numbers deal that you're fighting. And so I know the staff has guys who are tracking that the whole time. It has not been a big week for guys entering the portal from Nebraska. You had Applegate earlier this week that jumped in there. You had yesterday Timon Lynham, who went into the portal, but that's really been it. That has been drifted away. There's still time. The portal is a 45-day opening that you can jump into. So there's still plenty of time for guys to get into that. And also keep this in mind, and we were talking about this before the show with Duke and Cole, that the portal's open for 45 days here. You may have some players and some quarterbacks who are going to play in their bowl game and then decide to exit their program at that point in time. So, I don't know. Yes, it's important to advance and do your due diligence on guys right now. But, if you don't get somebody in the next week or so, I don't know that there's reason to panic, because I think there's more names that are going to be put into the portal in the coming weeks after bowl games end. So that first week of January could be pretty active with that going as well. So a lot of moving parts. I've seen some of the football staffers this week, and they're all just shaking their head. They're like, man, this portal is still crazy. I think we're over 1,200 college football players have entered the portal since Monday. 1,200. That's an unbelievable number that have popped in there. So hard to keep track of, hard to keep following, but we'll keep doing the best to keep you up and involved in all of that. College Football Awards Show is up on ESPN tonight. Anxious to see who the Outland Trophy winner is. I MC the Outland Trophy Banquet in Omaha. That'll be January the 10th this year. Anxious to see who will be coming to Omaha to pick up their Outland Trophy from the folks at the Omaha Sports Commission. So that's going on tonight. All of that is happening. So if you're a big fan of college football and see who want to be all the big award winners, that show just started a few moments ago. The Davey O'Brien, which Tommy Frazier won as a Husker quarterback in the mid-'90s, that went to Daniels from LSU. I think Daniels is going to win the Heisman tomorrow night. That's just my gut. Heisman will be awarded tomorrow night. All right, that's what we have on the program tonight. A lot of volleyball chatter. We'll hear from Fred Hoiberg later in the hour. Also want to hear from you, 402-413-2400. That is our Woodhouse Auto Family Hotline. Woodhouse, your trusted auto partner with 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. When we come back, Lauren Cook West will be in studio. Cannot wait to talk some volleyball with her. That's coming up next.
T&L Irrigation Company knows their way around a field and across it, into the corners, and even through storms. T&L engineers are constantly working on solutions producers need, like the new gooseneck cradle corner system attachment. It greatly improves corner span stability to tackle steep terrain and stand up to high winds. If you're looking to upgrade your corner system or add on new, call your T&L Irrigation dealer today or visit TLIRR.com to learn more. T&L, like no other.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? you might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Welcome to Sue's Frame Shop.
Yes, can you frame these, please?
These are Nebraska Lottery Holiday Classic Scratch tickets.
I know. Isn't the classic Christmas artwork on them just charming? Now, be sure not to smudge it when you frame them.
But if you scratch them and enter non-winning tickets online, you could win up to $20,000.
Give me those. Here's a quarter. Let's start scratching.
Promotion ends January 3rd, 2024. Top prize odds vary by game.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Shop smarter online for your next vehicle with Buy Now from Woodhouse. Car buying 100% online from your local trusted auto partner. Easily compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected cars, trucks, and SUVs features, capabilities, and payments. Conveniently apply for financing and complete your paperwork for purchase 100% online, anytime from anywhere. Plus, we'll deliver it to your driveway. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
Hey Husker fans, it's Matt Davison with the 1890 Initiative. As we get ready to celebrate 1890's one-year anniversary, I'm proud to say the 1890 Initiative now represents 150 Husker student athletes in 9 sports. And with your help, we can keep 1890 going strong, helping student athletes get the most from their name, image, and likeness, and preparing them for life after college. Visit 1890nebraska.com to learn more about NIL and 1890 and contribute today.
Maybe your hometown celebrates long-standing Swiss traditions, cow chip throwing, or even classic car muscle. Everyone has a hometown, and every hometown has a festival. Cenex wants to hear about yours. That's why we're launching the Hometown Throwdown. Tell us about your fest, and it could win $100,000. Learn more at CenexHometownThrowdown.com. Cenex, powered locally.
Get ready again for some Nebraska farm facts. When there's work to be done, Nebraska soybeans are on the job in many of your everyday products. In fact, Nebraska soybeans are hard at work in Goodyear tires, Ford cars and trucks, Skechers shoes, asphalt, fuels, lubricants, name brand paints and stains, and more. Soybeans are an innovative replacement for petroleum, leading to more sustainable products all over the world. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Back inside the Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest premier John Deere dealer. Acres Solutions for every field. We have Husker Radio Network royalty in the house tonight. Lauren Cook West. Good to see you in person.
I want to go as far as royalty.
All-American national champion. Come on.
No, just Lauren. We'll roll with that.
How much fun has this season and this team been to cover?
I don't know if I can put it into words. And but multiple people have said Coach Cook really looks like he's embracing this season with just emotionally, and he's taking in every win and the one loss they had. And I feel the same way. You're just soaking it all in more than I ever have before. And I don't know if it's because I just didn't expect it from this team, but it just feels different this year. It feels special. Probably because they're so young and no one really saw this coming, but it's what they're able to do. And I think it's not just their talent, but it's how they play for each other and the effort that they put out every single match. I mean, you never question their effort, and I'm speechless. I don't know. It's something special to witness and to be a part of, and behind the scenes, and of course for broadcasts as well. But I think JB and I have had a few conversations, and I think he would agree and say the same thing. We've never really witnessed anything like this, and he's been doing it a lot longer than I have.
Let's talk about your position, the setter spot. What makes Bergen so good?
There are a lot of things that make Bergen really good. And out of all the setters that are left in the country right now, I would, even if Bergen didn't play for Nebraska, I would still pick her every time. Some of the things that set her apart, though, is her posture when she's setting the ball. She never gives away what direction she's setting. And you'll see, if you watch other setters, sometimes they'll arch with their back if they're about to set backwards, or they'll move their hand placement if they're going to set middle, or the pin attackers. And so her posture, her body language, it's always very neutral. And that throws off opposing block and defense because they can't guess where she's going to go. She also doesn't have a lot of tendencies where some setters will always set with the flow, or some setters will always set against the flow, or some setters only set middle on a perfect pass. Bergen will set middle wherever. She'll set against the flow. She'll set with the flow. So her body language, her tendencies, they really don't give anything away. And that's why you see her get so many one-on-one matchups, meaning if she sets Harper on the left, now sometimes Harper has two blockers in front of her, but a lot of the time Harper will only have one blocker up, or Becca in the middle will only have one blocker up, or Merritt on the right, one blocker up. And that's an ideal situation. As a setter, you're trying to get your hitters in one-on-one or one-on-none situations. Now, one-on-none is almost impossible where you have no blockers up, but Bergen gets a lot of one-on-one situations, and that body language, that posture, those tendencies that she doesn't have, that's what causes a lot of those matchups, one-on-one matchups, because no one can guess where she's going to go. And she just has a really high volleyball IQ. She understands who she needs to set, when she needs to set. Now, sometimes she doesn't always make the best decision, but she's young. She's still learning. But the majority of the time, she makes the right decision. And the coaching staff, they've told me in multiple post-game press conferences, whether we have Kelly, Jalen, or Coach Cook, they always say, you don't have to coach Bergen. Bergen just knows. And during timeouts, she'll come over to the sidelines and she'll say, hey, I know why you called this timeout. I know what I need to change. Here's X, Y, and Z and what I'm going to do differently. So that's how mature she is, even though she's only a freshman. She just has a really high volleyball IQ. She understands the game. She understands what the coaches expect from her, and I think that's what sets her apart.
I've kind of told people she has ice in her veins. You just never know if it's going well or going bad. She doesn't show that a lot. We saw a lot of emotion from Nicklin, who was her predecessor. Her Nicklin wore it on her sleeves, and that's okay. Everybody's got to be themselves. But Lauren, she grew up in South Dakota. That's not a hotbed for great volleyball athletes. And yet here she is at the pinnacle of this sport in this, at least the collegiate level. It's amazing what she's done.
It really is. And sometimes I wish we would see a little more fire from Bergen, but I think that also helps the team stay level-headed. Because if you have a setter that's too high or that gets too low, then the team goes up. The setter's like the quarterback. They go up and down. As the quarterback goes, the rest of the team goes. And so as the setter goes, the rest of the team goes. And if she's up and down and showing too much emotion or not enough emotion, then I think we would see a different Nebraska volleyball team. So even though I wish sometimes she would play a little more spicy or fiery, I actually think that it's a benefit that she's always cool, calm, and collected.
It's fun to watch. We're visiting Lauren Cook West here on Sports Night. Huskers will battle Arkansas tomorrow at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock for pregame coverage. Allie Batenhorst has had to fill in for Lindsay, and we miss Lindsay. But how well has Allie done, do you think, in the absence of Lindsay Krause?
Allie Batenhorst is becoming one of my favorite players to watch. And I don't know if you know this, but Jordan Larson, as soon as Lindsay got injured and we knew Allie was going to be the starter, Jordan Larson was assigned to Allie to work with her. And Jordan's helping the entire team, but specifically Allie, outside to outside. And there's been a few things from what I've been told that they've tweaked with Allie's approach, with her footwork, with her arm swing, with her vision, her eyesight when she's attacking, and they've been working on that. And you're starting to see that pay off because she has turned into a different player. Now, back when she first entered the lineup, she was one of the best blockers on the team, and she still is one of the best blockers on the team, but defense was her strength, not offense. Now she's becoming one of the go-to attackers. And here's what you have to remember. Allie's in that L2 position, so it's the second outside position. So she, based on her rotations where she's in the front row, she's getting a lot of out-of-system swings. So whether it's an off pass or a dig that's off the net, Bergen relies on her often on sets that maybe aren't perfect. Now, Allie will still get a few in-system perfect sets from Bergen, but most of the time Allie's swinging on out-of-system sets that may not even be from Bergen. They could be from Lexi or Laney or someone else. Well, not Laney, because Laney goes in for Allie, but from Lexi or another player. And Allie's having to swing on these not-so-perfect sets, and she's tooling the block. she's finding the seam. She's finding the deep corners. She's moving the ball around. You used to see her just hit the seam shot every single time, and she would get blocked a lot, or she would get lucky and be able to muscle that ball through, but she would hit the same shot every time. Well, now she's figured out how to mix up her shots, and I think you have to credit Jordan Larson for a lot of that, because Allie's just turned into a different player, a different attacker, and now her offense is starting to match her defensive efforts.
It's good stuff. A lot of pundits right now covering this team. It goes up the closer you get to the Final Four. And I read somebody saying yesterday they got to get Harper going again. Is Harper not going? Where is she? And maybe she's not what she was in September. How do you view all that?
Harper's going. And here's what I'll say about Harper. Harper steps up when you need her to. And I know that may frustrate a lot of people, that answer, because they're probably saying, well, why doesn't she play at that high level consistently all the time? That's tough to do. You have to remember, she's playing all 6 rotations. She's not coming out. She's having to pass the majority of the balls because opposing teams target her with the serve. So she's constantly passing, then having to attack, front row, back row, sometimes step in and set a second contact if Bergen can't get there. So she's having to serve. She's having to block, play defense. I mean, Harper is doing so much out there. So you can't expect her to play at a high level all the time. She's going to have ups and downs. She's also only a freshman. And I think we forget that because she's such a talented player, but she's young. She's has to, play all these rotations, but Harper steps up when you need her to. So when you need her to get a big kill, she'll get a kill for you. And think about the match yesterday against Kentucky. She was serving, or excuse me, not Kentucky, Georgia Tech. I'm getting all of my teams mixed up. Against Georgia Tech, she was serving at the end of the 3rd set and nailed some serves. And her serving has been all over the place all season long. It's in or out. You never know. It's a guessing game. But she went back there. It was close in the 3rd set, and she nailed some serves and stressed those Georgia Tech passers with her serve. And so that's what fans have to look at, is when everything's on the line, when pressure's on her shoulders and she goes back to serve or she goes up to attack and has a double block in front of her and we need her to get a kill, that's when she's going to make plays and that's when she's going to get it done. And when the lights are brightest, that's when she's showing up to play her best. And that's what we need her to do. And again, it's not going to be pretty all the time because she's young and she's still figuring it out and she has to contact the ball on so many different occasions. But she steps up when we need her to, and that's the bottom line, and that's all that matters.
Again, visiting Lauren Cook West here on Sports Night. Tomorrow, Huskers will play Arkansas. I don't know that was the expected opponent for Nebraska. How surprised were you that they beat Kentucky, and what kind of challenges are they?
I thought Kentucky would win, so I was very surprised by that. But after watching the Kentucky-Arkansas match, Arkansas clearly deserved to win, and they're just a really scrappy team. They have an outside, I believe her last name's Gillian. I haven't done my prep work yet, but she's small. She's 5'7", so she's my size.
She's an outside?
Outside. She leaps out of the gym, and she hits the ball as hard as she can. She'll throw in some tips and roll shots, but she just goes up and rips it. And that scares me because Nebraska struggles blocking against smaller attackers. There's been some... Oregon had Brooke Van Sickle a couple years back. If anyone wants to go back into the record books, she lit Nebraska up postseason because they're smaller attackers. They go up, and if any part of your block is undisciplined, they'll take advantage. Those smaller attackers, they'll go up, they'll tool off hands, they'll tool off arms. So you have to be really disciplined as blockers. Nebraska will have to be sealing those hands over, pressing those hands in, because these smaller 5'7", 5'8", 5'9" attackers will go up and take advantage of our block. So she scares me. She's the heart and soul of this team from what I heard from the broadcast, and her and the coach have a very close relationship, and she's kind of the player, this Gilligan, she's the player that turned this program around. I may be saying that last name incorrectly, but she's, if any Husker fans stayed and watched yesterday, they'll know who I'm talking about, but she's an outside for Arkansas, just a potent attacker, but they're very scrappy. There were plays against Kentucky where they're like Nebraska, the effort's there. They're flying all over the place. You can tell that they want to win. They're playing for each other. They have that heart and soul, and that worries me more than talent, is when a team is close-knit like that and playing for each other, because you can have the most talented team in the world, but if they don't have that chemistry and that connection, it doesn't matter. But if you can have an untalented team, maybe like Arkansas, they're still very good, but not maybe at the talent level as Nebraska, but they have that chemistry and that connection, and that can take you farther. And I think that's one of the reasons why they beat Kentucky. It wasn't the talent, it was those connections.
They'd lost, I think, 18 in a row to Kentucky. So for them, that was a huge win to finally beat Kentucky, who's in their conference. We saw smaller hitters, didn't we, against Long Island? First round, they didn't have
yeah.
some size.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who else we've seen so far this.
Some of the Purdue outsides aren't overly tall,
Yeah.
are they?
Chacon. She was smaller. That would be a good. Still not 5'7", but we have faced some smaller outsides, and they usually have a pretty good night when they play Nebraska. But our blocking has been solid lately, so hopefully that carries into tomorrow night. And we have to be really disciplined. Jalen Reyes, he'll be all over the blockers and giving them signs and giving them cues and telling them what they need to do and reminders of how to stay disciplined and seal over the net. And hopefully that's enough.
We were talking before we went on tonight that the tournament's been kind of chalky. I mean, the top seeds, other than Arkansas, everybody else is where they should be in this tournament. I think we can all say that college volleyball is getting deeper, that there's more better teams, but it hasn't shown that in the tournament. But I do think that there's more good teams around the country, aren't there? Maybe even in your playing days. I think we've got more better teams across the country.
Absolutely. And really, there haven't been that many surprises, though.
No.
That's what worries me. I think across the board, teams are better. The talent's going up. But I also, JB and I talked about this. There were a lot of Big Ten teams in one section. There were a lot of ACC teams in one section, a lot of SEC teams in one section. So you're seeing a lot of matchups for the third time this season. Look at the Kentucky-Arkansas matchup. You mentioned Kentucky had beat them 18 times prior, but that was the third matchup this season. It is difficult to beat a team 3 times in one season. No, it doesn't matter who you're playing. And so I think that's part of the reason maybe why Kentucky lost a third time having to face Arkansas, but other teams have had to do it as well. Stanford, Arizona State, Penn State, Wisconsin, Louisville, and Pitt will have to do it for the third time. So maybe that plays into it, but I think across the board, there's definitely more talent. Teams are better, but it's just been interesting. It's been how this tournament has worked out. I know we always complain about the seeding and who plays who, and I don't think you can ever get it perfect, but I just wish we could have seen some of these teams mixed up and not having to face each other for the third time this season.
All right, I love the Kicking Back with the Cooks podcast. You like to put your dad on the spot, so I thought I would turn the tables here a little bit. 2 quick ones for you. JB or Matt Coady?
Okay, don't tell JB.
He doesn't listen to Sports Nightly.
Matt.
And your favorite freshman on this team?
Oh.
That's like picking your favorite kid almost. I mean, they're so...
It is.
I'm a big Andy Jackson fan, by the way, so...
I love Andy Jackson, but I love how she celebrates when she does her... We call them pirouettes.
The
I think
twist,
it's a ballerina term. Yeah. She does the twist. Lainey Choboy, her celebrating... I love watching her. But Bergen, I mean, a setter. How can I not pick a setter? And then, but Harper, it's the last time we saw someone with her talent was maybe Jordan Larson. And Caroline Jervicius, don't forget about her. But even though she hasn't had any playing time, she is fun to watch in practice. She goes up and crushes balls. And I think she'll provide a lot to this team in the years to come. But gosh, that's a tough. And is Merritt factored into that? Even though she's not a freshman, she's a newbie.
She's an old gal on the team. She's the grandma, right? Of this
I love
team
them all. I can't pick one.
Great to talk to you. Thanks for coming in. Have fun tomorrow. Let's hope there's 3 more matches to call here this season.
Fingers crossed. Send out your positive vibes, prayers, whatever we need to do. But let's hope they can get it done tomorrow night, and we're off to Tampa.
5 o'clock tomorrow, 4 o'clock for pregame with Lauren and JB on the call. Folks, contact 811 2 days before you dig to protect your underground utilities and yourself. It's free, it's easy, and it's the law. We're back with more Sports Nightly coming up.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. They are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is proud to sponsor Touchdowns for Teachers and ask Husker fans to nominate outstanding educators who help Nebraska students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/touchdowns-for-teachers.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Feel like you're always on the run? Me too. As an independent financial professional, I help all kinds of busy people. Young families planning for college, couples working toward retirement, people securing their legacy. Wherever you are in life, Emeritus can help you get more out of life with insurance, employee benefits, and financial services. You're moving fast. Let's help make sure you're on the path to a fulfilling life. Find your next step at emeritus.com. Insurance products issued by Emeritus Life Insurance Corp.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
It's time for some Nebraska farm facts. Want to know a fast way to rev up our Nebraska economy while helping the planet? It's right in your tank. When you fill up with clean soy-based biodiesel, you're increasing Nebraska biodiesel production while reducing greenhouse gases by up to 74%. So look for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, our economy, and our farmers. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
It's time to light up the season during the Make the Holidays Bright sales event. Get our best offers and choose from a huge selection of Ford F-150 trucks with the capability, convenience, and technology to help bring us together. Wow. Discover how Ford F-150 can make the holidays bright. Now, get a new 2023 Ford F-150 with 2.9% financing for 72 months. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
There's no community like a Cenex community, and that's why every Cenex store is so proud to serve theirs by supporting local athletic teams, promoting the arts, and making sure each store is a place its neighbors can find what they need, catch up with their friends, and stay connected. It's also why we give back, helping to make the wonderful places we call home the best they can be. Your local Cenex doesn't just work in your town, it lives there. The store next door, powered locally at Cenex.
When you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. But you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Back inside the Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Oh, great to talk to Lauren Cook West. I so enjoy her. What is a great broadcast she and JB put on. Again, 4 o'clock tomorrow, pregame, 5 o'clock for First Serve. 402-413-2400, the number if you want to be a part of the program with a call or a text. Art in Los Angeles. Greg, who do you think makes the Final Four? All right. Huskers win. I'm going to say Louisville knocks off Pitt, which would be a 2 beating a 1. I'm going to say Oregon beats Wisconsin. That's a 2 beating a 1. And I kind of hate to say it, but I think Texas is going to beat Stanford. So I think you're going to have one number 1 seed in Tampa, Nebraska, and 3 number 2s. Texas, Oregon, Louisville. I think that's who's going to be in Tampa next week. All right, tomorrow or Sunday, the Huskers back on the hardwood. Fred Hoiberg's team, after that disappointing second half the other night against the Gophers, where they had a 15-point halftime lead and ended up losing to Minnesota, have dropped their last 2, will be back on the hardwood against Michigan State. So what's the last couple of days been like for this team? What was practice like today? He met with the media after the practice today. He talked about some things that they need to work on to change.
You know, I talked about it in the locker room today. What we need to do to find a way to get us coming out with better urgency? Is it getting them out there later? Is it going through warm-ups harder? Is it getting into defensive slides? We worked on the beginning of the second half today. That was a big part of practice in our scrimmage and our live portion. And it's just got to be something where, again, when you get a team down like we had them the other night, you gotta keep them down. You gotta stomp on them, and we just gotta find a way to get that killer mentality that I talked about the other night after the game. And you know, we're gonna keep working at it. We're gonna keep practicing hard, and we're gonna get it right. And you know, the guys that are gonna go out there and compete, those are the ones that are gonna be on the floor. You know, wasn't just one guy the other night. You know, to a man, we didn't have the blockouts that we needed, the physical blockouts. When we go through the game plan, the scout discipline, you know, when you talk about when that shot goes up, they're going to fly by. And if you turn and look 1 second late, they're going to be by you. And that's exactly what happened. So, you know, you got to build on the positives. You got to look at the things that you're doing well, which we did plenty of in those first 20 minutes, but we got to find a sustain it. We have to be a more consistent basketball team right now.
Keisei Tominaga did not have a field goal in the game the other night. Went 0 for 5. And the Huskers had a hard time just getting him the ball. Coach was asked, are you noticing how teams are defending him? Are they doing something different with Keisei right now?
Yeah, I thought Keisei was getting held, you know, a little bit. And, you know, we need to be better with our pressure releases. I thought we handled that really well in the first half. Keisei wasn't the benefactor of a lot of it. CJ, I thought, had as good a 20 minutes as he's had this year. I thought he cut very well getting into the paint. Sam had a very forceful cut to the basket where he got Juwan and one in the second half. But, you know, if teams are going to get out and pressure us, you got to use that against them. We did it for 20 minutes. We did not do it well in the second half.
Huskers, I think, are disappointed in how physical or the lack of physical play by the inside guys for the Big Red. And then so the question was kind of about, well, how do you balance maybe guys crashing the offensive boards without giving up transition buckets on the other end? And what about the physical nature of the team right now?
We're not physical enough right now. That's what it boils down to. You know, I'd love to give you 10 reasons why, but that's it. I mean, you got to be more physical. You got to take more pride in it. You got to be sick of getting punked at some point, and that's what's happened the last couple of games.
So there you go. There's the head coach commenting after the last week has been disappointing. I mean, just getting shellacked by Creighton at home and then giving up the 15-point lead at the barn on Wednesday night. It just tough. I mean, you just felt great at halftime. You felt like, great, this is going to be a 1-0 start to the league play. But it didn't happen. And I said this last night with Jessica that what's kind of keeping me bolstering my hopes is that Coach Hoiberg has shown the ability the last couple of seasons of figuring out what his team does well, played to that strength, and Nebraska was pretty darn good late in the season the last 2 years. You hope that they can figure out what works for this team and start to flip this script. But that's a big game Sunday. You got to hold serve at home. Sparty they lost their home opener in the league to Wisconsin, so they've dropped a home game. You know they're going to be upset, angry, and ready to come at it. Nebraska's got a match set Sunday. Again, it's 5:30 for the game with Michigan State, 4:30 for pregame coverage with Kent and Jake. All right, 402-413-2400. That's the number if you want to be part of the program. We're back with more of the show coming up.
It's time for another round of Nebraska Farm Facts. If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. and Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens. Farmers and ranchers raise livestock and poultry to provide nutritious, affordable protein for all ages to help build muscle and maintain energy for a healthy lifestyle. Keep that in mind as you prepare all that tasty meat on your tailgate grill. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Woodhouse has been delivering you confidence in car buying since 1975, and now we're giving you the convenience of doing it 100% online with Buy Now. Anytime, from anywhere, you can compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected, pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs that are available to purchase completely online. Shop smarter with personalized, estimated payments on all the inventory. Apply for financing and schedule your driveway delivery all online. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails. Dress up for a night out on the town or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the Trail-Tamin 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Woodhouse Auto Family, they are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. 402-413-2400. The number to be a part of the program with a call or a text. Texter just wrote in and said, I like Fred, but thought it was coaching malpractice to not take a timeout until Minnesota was back to within 2. Yeah, you go back to that second half. Huskers led by 15 at the half. The under 16 timeout, the lead had been trimmed to 11. So you're okay there. But between the 16-minute mark and the under 12 timeout, that's where they brought it from 11 to 2. And I think you're right. I think you got to call a timeout somewhere in there. Maybe when it gets down to 5, you stop the action and try to halt the rhythm and the flow of the Gophers at that point in time. And I think, I've long felt like coaches, for whatever reason, and this is across the board really with the coaching industry, that you got to save those timeouts for late game situations. Well, my opinion is, you make it to the late game and it's over, and you didn't use your timeouts earlier. I would probably be calling more timeouts than most coaches do, but so many of them, and it's kind of been drilled into their head, whether it's coaches' clinics or whatever. You got to save those timeouts. Roy Williams was the king of this, the longtime Kansas and North Carolina head coach, not calling timeouts, and he was adamant, and because of the very reason I just stated, you save them for late in the game. But again, I'm of the belief that, well, that's great. You got 4 timeouts left, and you're down 12 to a minute and a half to go in the game. That's doing you a lot of good to carry those babies into the locker room after the game is over. So I tend to agree with you. I think if Coach Hoiberg had to do that over, somewhere in that stretch, he does take a timeout because he waited for the under 12 timeout, and you're right. By that point in time, it's 42-40. The game, it was basically a tie at that point in time, and it had gotten away from Nebraska at that minute. So I agree with you. Yeah, the Huskers take that timeout, and at that point it's 42-40. So I'm with you. I think it took a little bit too long, but it went fast. Huskers had a couple of turnovers in that run, handed the ball off to the Gophers. They hit a couple threes in that stretch to get it from 11 to 2. It was rough. It was a rough point in the game, and it's a hard lesson to learn. Hopefully they've done it. Hopefully they respond in a big way Sunday. I think what really is frustrating for me is we wondered how they would respond off the Creighton game, and they did. They played great in the first half Wednesday night. built a lead up to 17, 15 at the break. So you're like, okay, they did kind of answer the call after being shellacked at home last week. But then in the second half, it's almost like they felt like they had the game won, that it was over. We're at 15. These are games, it's over. And, you look back to Creighton. Same spread at halftime. Jays led the Huskers by 15. And if you go study the box score, I believe at the first media timeout Sunday at PBA, the lead had gone from 15 to 20 or 21, somewhere in that range. So the Jays extended it, and the Huskers didn't. As I mentioned, the under-16 timeout, it had drifted to 11. So we lost 4 in that batch. Instead of at least keeping it at 15 or extending it, lost it. And I think right then and there, Minnesota's like, hey, we're back in the game. Let's go. Let's go win this thing. And they did. And it got away from the Huskers, obviously, from that point on. But I agree with the texture. I think the timeout needed to happen earlier than it did. All right, had a text earlier in the hour about whether I've heard that Nash Hutmaker has joined the wrestling team. He has. He has. So Nash is wrestling with the Huskers, and the texter asked, when could we see him on the mat? I don't know that we will. And let me explain. Not that he isn't a great wrestler. He certainly was. He went undefeated in high school up in South Dakota. Just an amazing wrestler. The problem, though, there's a weight limit in college wrestling. The heavyweight division, you cannot weigh over 285. Nash weighs 330. And I don't know that Matt Rule and Terrence Knighton want Nash to drop weight from 330 to 285. Maybe they're okay with that. I haven't asked the football coaches, but that's an awful lot of weight to drop to get into a competitive wrestling match in college. I think he's just doing it because he misses the sport, wants to kind of keep himself in shape a little bit during this winter drop-off here. And I'm going to see Mark Manning next week. We're going to get Coach Manning on the program next week. But, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they are going to have him cut that much weight and wrestle. But to me, that seems pretty risky to have him drop that much weight to go out and compete in a college wrestling match. So, yes, he is training with the wrestling team right now. He has his own locker. Ridge confirmed this with Jessica a couple days ago when Ridge was in here to do a segment for Sports Nightly. So there is, Nash is wrestling, but I don't know that we will see him in a competitive match because of the weight limitations at the college level. So there's the answer to that. I'm glad somebody asked that. So we were able to talk a little bit about some of that as well. All right, 1 hour in the books. We're going to talk a lot more volleyball next hour. John Cook met with the media earlier today. We'll play you some of the highlights of that as the Huskers get ready for Arkansas for that match tomorrow at 5 o'clock at the Devaney Center. Meritt Beason, Jessica caught up with the Husker captain after the game yesterday. We'll play that interview back for you as well. And we have winners and losers to deal with later on in hour number 2. We're here. We're ready to go with you folks. 402-413-2400. You want to be a part of hour number 2 of the program. I'm keeping an eye on the College Football Award Show. I want to know who wins the Outland Trophy. I don't think it's popped up yet. They just named the Jim Thorpe Award winner to the top defensive back in college football. Tory Taylor is your winner of the Jim Thorpe. We'll keep an eye on that. Come on back, have some fun in hour 2 next.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. They are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is proud to sponsor Touchdowns for Teachers and ask Husker fans to nominate outstanding educators who help Nebraska students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/touchdowns for teachers.
Shop smarter online for your next vehicle with Buy Now from Woodhouse. Car buying 100% online from your local trusted auto partner. Easily compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected cars, trucks, and SUVs features, capabilities, and payments. Conveniently apply for financing and complete your paperwork for purchase 100% online, anytime from anywhere. Plus, we'll deliver it to your driveway. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Good evening, I'm Duke Root, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. Yesterday, the Nebraska volleyball team advanced to the Elite Eight after sweeping Georgia Tech. They will host the number 3 seed Arkansas tomorrow at 5 p.m. in the regional final. In addition to moving on, the Huskers also became the first female sport in NCAA history to draw 250,000 home fans in a single season. Thursday's attendance of 8,580 brings Nebraska's total to 255,953, which Coach Cook says played a huge role for his team.
There's electricity in Devaney. You can feel it, you can sense it. It comes from our crowd. And again, I think there's going to be a lot of pent-up excitement with our crowd. To see and witness a regional against 2 great teams that are going to play their hearts out. This is what college sports is all about, and there's a lot on the line for this. And it's going to be a really, really competitive match. And that's what it takes this time of year to win a regional. You're going to have to dig down deep.
We will hear more from Coach Cook later on in the show. Today, the MLB, the Boston Red Sox acquired outfielder Tyler O'Neill in a trade from the St. Louis Cardinals. In return, the Cardinals received 2 pitchers. O'Neill has dealt with injuries lately, which held him out of 91 games this past season. This previous season, he had a batting average of .231 and 9 home runs. Our sports ticker is sponsored by the 1890 Initiative. Do you want to support Husker student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If so, visit 1890nebraska.com. Coming up next is Hour 2 of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Now Minnesota outside roll shot. Walker block back and it drops. Another block by the Big Red. Berg and Riley back at Alec Nebraska piling those babies.
Fury and White stopping at the foul line after Jazz Shelley unguarded 3. You betcha! Jazz Shelley with a Central Valley egg 3 to start the third.
Against Lawrence on the other end. Lays it up. Shot blocked by Williams. Into the hands of Lawrence. The baseball pass and the jam. The jamola by Gary on the other end.
What a block by Bryce Williams to get that one started. Juwan Gary cherry picking after the badly missed 3.
Served by Laney. Bad pass, and that's an ace. They did it. Conference champions. All by themselves. And the players dogpile. Oh, look at that emotion released. That's a happy bunch of Huskers and so deserving.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Here we are back for hour number 2, final hour of the night, final hour of the week. Jessica's already off tonight, well-deserved night off for her, a little extended weekend and a little R&R for her. She'll be back with us on Monday's show. Going to talk some volleyball this hour. The head coach had a press conference today ahead of tomorrow's regional final against Arkansas. We'll play you some of the clips of that. And yesterday after the match, Jessica caught up with Meritt Beason, one of the captains for the Huskers. We'll play that for you. And we have winners and losers coming up later on in the hour. And like I always like to say, this is your show, 402-413-2400. Some good texts have made their way in tonight. Keep them coming. We'll fire that off. I did pick my Final Four last hour. I didn't get much reaction to that. I mean, I've got Louisville, Nebraska, Oregon, Texas. That's my Final Four picks. Head of all the regional finals tomorrow. Well, the head coach met with the media this afternoon, mandatory press conference from the NCAA. Both he and the Arkansas head coaches had about 30-minute sessions with the media today. Let's start with Coach Cook's kind of opening statement and talking about Arkansas's big victory yesterday over the Kentucky Wildcats.
No, I thought yesterday Arkansas-Kentucky was a great match. It could have gone either way, and Arkansas played great at the end to win that. And they've got some fierce competitors. They do some things really well, and this is going to be a epic match tomorrow.
Arkansas had not beaten this is the third time they'd played Kentucky this year. First time they played, it went 5, and then it was a Kentucky sweep. So seeing the team for a third straight time, that's tough. And I think that might have helped Arkansas a little bit. But they have a long history of getting beat by the Wildcats. They hadn't beaten Kentucky in volleyball since 2012. That's a long time. That's over a decade. So there was nobody on that Arkansas roster that had beaten Kentucky as a member of the Razorbacks. So that's a great feat. Last hour, we had Lauren Cook in here, and she talked about, got a little scout from her about Arkansas. She talked about how Arkansas has a very short outside hitter, under 6 foot tall, who's really good. Here's the coach talking more about the smaller Arkansas pin hitters.
Well, they have a good system, and they're trying to go fast and out-quick you, and when you're smaller, that's a great plan to have, and they're very good at it. So it doesn't, to be a great attacker, it doesn't matter if you're tall or short or whatever. It's your arm speed, your vision, how creative you are. Those are all the things that allow hitters to be successful.
So there's the coach with the scout. It was interesting yesterday watching that match between Arkansas and Kentucky, because Coach Cook, you're allowed to be in the arena. Unlike any other time during the year, you're not allowed to go, unless you're Michigan football, you're not allowed to go in person and scout other teams. But in the NCAA tournament, you are allowed to do that. Same happens in basketball. You're able to sit there courtside at basketball and take notes and watch some things and try to pick up something. And there was Coach Cook sitting up near one of the suites at Devaney, kind of eyeballing that match between Arkansas and Kentucky. And I would have loved to know, maybe I'll find out later, how many of his notes as he watched that were kind of Kentucky slanted or Arkansas. And you probably could sense it as the match went on that maybe Arkansas was going to win, and maybe you start taking more notes on Arkansas as you're like, I think they may win this, because even Lauren said last hour with us, she felt like Kentucky was going to win that match because they'd beaten Arkansas all those times in a row and all those type of things. Well, that ended up not being the case. So I would love to get the thought about that. All right, where are we going next? Okay, Coach Cook loves his staff, and obviously it's a great staff. And Jessica, each week during the season, has featured a different one of the staff members on the dig, whether it be Jalen Reyes, Kelly Hunter, now Jordan Larson, a part of that staff. He talks about his staff and how much respect he has and appreciates about them as they've made their way through this season.
We're a staff now that's been together for a while, which is great. Jordan's obviously new, but Jordan's the Huskers, so it was an easy transition for her. But, Jalen has a lot of responsibility with our block and defense and how we prepare for teams, and I trust him a ton. Kelly works with our setters, makes our offensive game plans, trust her a ton. So, it's a group effort that we do, and we have some our GAs are helping and are involved in all that. So, we try to build a great team around these guys, whether it's training them, preparing them, Brian Comita and Jolene, those guys, getting them physically ready to play, and Brian does some stuff with them mentally and breathing and visualization. So we're just, I figured this out about 10 years ago. You got to get a great team and surround them with to help them to be the best that they can be, and that way you eliminate the margin for not being as successful or maxing out, and that's what we're trying to do with our program and our team. And my job is to make sure everybody's working hard at that and try to make them better and encourage them to push. And so I don't know if that answered your question, but it's a team effort, definitely.
And the Brian was talking about is their sports psychologist that's assigned to Husker volleyball. He also mentioned their strength coach, getting them all ready. And all that's huge, and we certainly feature that throughout the year here on Sports Nightly, those different elements of the teams and kind of the unsung heroes. A lot of these teams are the people that work with these student athletes above and beyond the assistant coaches and the head coach of that staff. All right, we'll leave you with this. Jalen Reyes, coach, credited him for coming up with a game plan for Georgia Tech. He also talked about the challenges of these quick turnarounds. You have, 48 hours, and you don't know. You could play Team A or Team B, but you're not sure which one's going to win. So you have to kind of prep for both, and that's why I think sitting there and taking some notes is probably pretty valuable for John Cook the other night. Here's his talk about trying to prep while you're in the tournament.
again, when we have 3 days to prepare for somebody, we can dial them in really well. Today's a little bit different because we didn't even spend any time on Kentucky or Arkansas because I thought it was, you look at their stats and everything, I thought it'd be a 5-gamer coin flip. And it's what it turned out to be. So we just put everything into Georgia Tech. And one of the good things about playing in the Big Ten is you have to prepare for 2 teams, or you have to play a match and then 20 hours later you're playing another team. So you have to be able to flip into a different mode and a different game plan. And that's something we're training all the time. We train it in practice. We train it during the Big Ten season. So these guys are used to it.
Are you enjoying the day off or practice day today instead of getting ready for a match in a few hours?
I think it's good for the athletes. I mean, you look at number 10 on Arkansas. I mean, she played a hard match last night. The turnaround play, and at 3 o'clock today or 5 o'clock today, it would be a pretty quick turnaround for her. So I just think this is the right thing to do for the athletes and have. And again, Amy, you asked me yesterday. I know how many people here stayed up to watch Stanford. I mean, it was going into the next day. They gotta split that up. I mean, it's just too much in one day, and it's too long. I mean, I was thinking how long Purdue had to wait, and then how long Stanford and Arizona State had to wait. I mean, I can't imagine having to wait all that time, all day long, into the night to play. That's got to be really tough.
I sure didn't make it. I made it through the end of the Tennessee-Texas match, which ended about 11:15 our time. It was West Coast time, so it was 9:15. But again, that Stanford-Arizona State match did not start till 9:45 Pacific time. And Coach kind of went on a rant about this a couple days ago. He goes, why can't we spread these regionals over 4 days? He goes, it's great that TV's getting all the matches, but it makes for, particularly you're trying to stagger them, and you put the West Coast times later in the day because they have the extra 2 hours, but you get a 5-setter like they did with Texas and Tennessee, and it just backs everything up so much. And really, Cole can double-check this for me, but I think like next week for the Final Four, I don't think and it's in Tampa, so your East Coast time, I don't think match 1 starts till 7. Well, you have a chance of match 2 not starting until about 10:30 Tampa time if the first match goes 5 sets. I mean, those are generally 3-hour matches if they go 5. And so, and again, I know you're trying to hit as much prime time as you can. So 7 Eastern, 6 our time, 4 o'clock Pacific. That's really early. I get that. But, for these regional rounds, why couldn't you had the Pittsburgh and the Lincoln ones on one day, like maybe Thursday, and then like it was, and then today you maybe could have had the Wisconsin and the Stanford regionals, and you started a couple of hours earlier just so you're not playing deep into the night like that. I think he's got a great point there. Now you're asking for another couple days of coverage, but you could tomorrow you got 4 matches, and I warned people this in hour 1. They're only allotting 2 hours for the match. So Louisville-Pitt starts at 3. Nebraska's match with Arkansas starts at 5. So they're probably going to have to start the Arkansas-Nebraska match on an alternate channel. Now, hopefully they put it over on ESPN News or something that people can get, and it just doesn't go to the streaming channel of ESPN+. The good news yesterday was Nebraska was on ESPN2. The match before, which was Creighton with Louisville, terrific match, by the way, it went long, and so they pushed Nebraska and Georgia Tech over to ESPNU, and so you could immediately find that and have that. But if it goes to the streaming channel, a lot of people don't have ESPN+. So he brings up a great point there. Why not just spread the regional round over 2 extra days instead of trying to jam them all into 2 days of competition?
By the way, Greg, so it does say that this year's Final Four, is still to be decided. Looking at 2022's Final Four games, first match time was at 7 p.m. Eastern. Second match began at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So they must. Well, that's what they hope to start those. But right. If you have a 4 like you, and you've run enough of these, Cole, during the season, 4 and 5 setters can go up to 3 hours long. And I think that Texas match last night was 3 hours and 10 minutes long. So that's really, really late. I kind of wondered if it was because it's in Tampa, East Coast, would they maybe start that at 6 Eastern? But I don't think that's
that's the case. All right, 402-413-2400, the number if you want to be part of the program. We can take some calls. I see some texts coming in. I'll answer some of those coming up here in just a couple of minutes. And when we come back, yesterday after the match, Jessica caught up with Meritt Beason, one of the captains on this Husker team. We'll have that conversation and more coming up next.
Husker fans, this Saturday, your number one ranked Husker volleyball team is set to host the quarterfinals of the NCAA tournament against the Arkansas Razorbacks. Your postseason coverage is presented by John Henry's, the official plumbing, HVAC, and electrical partner of Nebraska Athletics, bringing you all the action on the Husker Radio Network. Broadcast coverage starts on Saturday at 4 with first serve at 5. Listen online or on the air. Go Big Red.
Woodhouse has been delivering you confidence in car buying since 1975. And now we're giving you the convenience of doing it 100% online with Buy Now. Anytime, from anywhere, you can compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected, pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs that are available to purchase completely online. Shop smarter with personalized, estimated payments on all the inventory. Apply for financing and schedule your driveway delivery all online. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
As a fan, you wear your jersey on your back and your heart on your sleeve. There's a place for people like you. The Cox Fan Zone. Play NFL Pick'em and Collegiate Pick'em for a chance to win a $100 Visa gift card each week, or even a $500 Visa gift card grand prize.
Hey, Husker fans, this is Greg Sharpe. Say Fan Zone in your Contour voice remote to play. Not at home? Visit cox.com/fanzone. Go Big Red.
Bananas are only 39 cents a pound at Hy-Vee. That's not a sale price. That's the price with the Hy-Vee Perks membership. And 39 cents a pound is not just the price today or this week. It's the Perks price every day. With the Hy-Vee Perks membership, you can save on hundreds of products store-wide every time you shop. And count on Perks prices to stay the same. So if you want to pay less for bananas every day, sign up for Hy-Vee Perks. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. They are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is proud to sponsor Touchdowns for Teachers and ask Husker fans to nominate outstanding educators who help Nebraska students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/touchdowns for teachers.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails, dress up for a night out on the town, or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the Trail-Tamin 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
When you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. But you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Welcome to Sue's Frame Shop.
Yes, can you frame these, please?
These are Nebraska Lottery Holiday Classic Scratch tickets.
I know. Isn't the classic Christmas artwork on them just charming? Now, be sure not to smudge it when you frame them.
But if you scratch them and enter non-winning tickets online, you could win up to $20,000.
Give me those. Here's a quarter. Let's start scratching.
Promotion ends January 3rd, 2024. Top prize odds vary by game.
It's time to light up the season during the Make the Holidays Bright sales event. Get our best offers and choose from a huge selection of Ford F-150 trucks with the capability, convenience, and technology to help bring us together. Wow. Discover how Ford F-150 can make the holidays bright. Now, get a new 2023 Ford F-150 with 2.9% financing for 72 months. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the service and equipment to advance agriculture and much more. Acres. You know it. They've got solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe back with you on a Friday night. Busy day on the network tomorrow. We have women's basketball. They play their first conference game against Michigan State in East Lansing. 1 o'clock tip, 12:30 for pregame coverage. Matt Coatney, Jeff Grease. They are on the ground in East Lansing. They left Lincoln about 4:30 this afternoon, so they are up in East Lansing getting ready for a game. Hopefully they can build off that impressive performance from Tuesday night where they absolutely blitzed UNC Wilmington, winning by over 70 points. That affected their net by a ton. The net rating is what the committee uses at the end of the year to place the place teams in the NCAA tournament. Nebraska began the week 37th in the net. Because they beat somebody by that margin of victory does get included in the net rankings. Nebraska is now 21. I don't necessarily agree with the net putting that much influence on scoring margins, because I think that leads to bad sportsmanship, and I am not implying in any way Amy Williams used bad sportsmanship the other night. She played everybody and played them a lot, and not a lot of minutes for anybody on that team. I just think there was that much of a gap in the talent between Nebraska and UNC Wilmington, but they won by a huge margin, and they went up 16 spots in the net. On the men's side, the Miami Hurricanes beat somebody pretty bad the other night by 35 or 38 points. They went up 20 spots in the net. I think there's a flaw in the net. I think a lot of coaches would agree with that. There's a flaw in their formula that you should not be getting credit for, because I think some coaches will take advantage of it. Again, not Coach Williams. She did not, but some coaches will take advantage of that and keep their starters in, even though they may have an opponent down by 25 or 30 points, because they realize that could affect, in a positive way, their net ranking. Again, I get on a tangent there. Sorry about that, folks. But tomorrow, Huskers and Michigan State should be a good game. Michigan State, new coach, first-year coach for Sparty. They've been scoring a lot of points. Huskers obviously have the ability to score a lot of points. Should be a really entertaining game. Tips at 1 o'clock. Then our pregame coverage for Husker Volleyball begins at 4. First serve at 5 as Nebraska takes on Arkansas with a trip to the Final Four on the line tomorrow. Yesterday, the Huskers advanced through by beating Georgia Tech in straight sets. Very impressive performance by the Cornhuskers. Afterwards, our Jessica Coody caught up with Meritt Beason.
Here with Meritt Beason post-match. Well, how much fun was that when you guys came out hot from the start?
Yeah, we were super excited for today's match, and we're just so grateful to still be playing volleyball, and we're trying our best not to take it for granted and to go in there with, just guns blazing. And I think we were just really, really excited to still be playing volleyball, because not a lot of teams are. And so we're grateful for that opportunity, and we're excited to keep seeing what this team can do and seeing how far we can take it. But we've just been really, really excited for every game that we're able to play.
A lot was made about the switch up of the routine this week with the early match and with a lot of young players. How did you feel like the focus was and just the preparation throughout this week to be ready for today's early match?
Yeah, we practiced yesterday at 12, so I thought that helped a lot just because we had to get up, get going. We were out of our normal routines, and so I think that prepared us a lot. And I think Husker Nation showed out, and that was a request that we had for them, and so that was really, really good. They made it feel like a normal game, and once we ran out there on the court, we were just like, okay, we're playing volleyball like we have all season, and nothing's different about it. So I think we did a really good job preparing, and I think Husker Nation made that very easy as well.
The serve set 1, how much of an emphasis was that?
a lot, you know, but they're a great team and we have to give them a lot of credit. But that was one of our things that we were working on, is if we could serve aggressive and get them out of system, it was going to be a huge advantage for us. And so I thought first and second set we did a really, really, really good job of that, and that's what helped us a ton. I think third set we might have done a little bit better, but they also made adjustments, and they're a great team and they're going to do that. So, but I thought we did really well on capitalizing that, because that was definitely one of our focuses.
And then the blocks, you guys had one block in the first set, and then that seemed to really amp up there in the second set too. Was that something that you guys wanted to change, or how did that kind of amp up in the second set?
Honestly, no. In the first set, we didn't have many stuffs like on the stat sheet, but we were in really good spots, making really good touches and forcing them to hit the shots they didn't want to hit. So that's where a lot of errors came from. So we didn't really talk about it because we were in good spots, and then the blocks just kind of seemed to come. But I think we did a really good job on defense as a whole today, blocking and defense. And so I think that was huge for us. And serving obviously kind of sets that up, but I thought that we did a really good job capitalizing on our defensive plan and their scouting report. And so that's what helped us.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, just the defensive effort. They were hitting negative through the first two sets. Just how much of an emphasis that is, how much pride you guys take in that.
Yeah, we take a ton of pride in it, but I have to give Jay Ray a ton of credit, and all the coaching staffs, all the GAs, all of the time and energy that they put into writing those scouting reports for us and then teaching it to us, because they make it very, very easy. We know exactly what they want to do in certain situations, and so I have to give them a ton of credit. But I thought, like I said, we did a really good job of taking that game plan and executing it out there.
You led the way in kills, but pretty balanced offensive effort tonight. How important was that? How good was that to kind of spread it around and Bergen kind of getting a lot of people involved?
Yeah, no, that's huge. It makes us really, really hard to play and hard to defend, and we talk about that all the time, how we want to be a balanced offense. We don't want one player having 60 attempts and the next having 20. We really, really want to be a balanced attack, because for the other team it makes it really, really hard for them to defend. So I thought Bergen did a great job of that, but I think also you have to give a lot of credit to our passers, because if they don't pass, lots of balls have to go to the outside. So I thought they did a great job too. I think today as a whole was just a really good Nebraska volleyball.
You guys talk a lot about the 2-point sets, the 2-point matches. Pretty dominant those first two sets, but when it gets tight there in that third set, what clicks into that mindset when you know, okay, here we are, we're in this battle and we got to win this 2-point match?
Honestly, we at the net specifically talk a lot about just getting one touch, 1 point. You know, we try not to make it like we need 5 points here to win this set. We try to just focus on the point that's in front of us, the hitter that's in front of us, and whatever we can do to help our team and be in a position to win that point is what we really try to focus on. But we try to keep it pretty simple and not overthink it too much.
How much fun are you having with this team this season?
So much. This is such a special team, and on and off the court we're all really, really close, and I just think that makes it even more special when you get to go out there. But I know that this team is one of a kind, and I am so, so grateful for that, and so grateful to be a part of this team and this program, and I just love it.
Last thing I got for you, I mean, you guys get a day's rest, which is a new thing, but how do you guys go about preparing? And for whoever's next, you don't know who you're going to play, but whoever's next coming up in this next match.
Yeah, I think it'll be the same as always, you know, making sure we're recovering well a day in between, but also that's still a pretty quick turnaround. So making sure that we're doing our part to make sure our bodies are ready to go, and then whatever they throw at us in practice, we'll go for, and we'll do our best, and then we'll be ready to come out here against whoever we have on Saturday.
Thanks, Merritt. Great one.
Thank you.
There's Jessica after the match yesterday, catching up with Meritt Beason. What a great addition she has been, the transfer from Florida. You know, I don't think John Cook's going to do a lot in the transfer portal. I think maybe a piece here or there. But she has been fantastic fitting into this thing. And, you know, to come on campus last January and then in June be voted a captain after only being around this team for a couple of months, pretty impressive. And you can see why. She is just a terrific player, great leader. I know a lot of Husker fans are still smarting that she didn't win Player of the Year in the Big Ten Conference. Franklin from Wisconsin got that honor, but she was first team all-conference, and she's just a terrific player. I went out on a limb throughout my Final Four picks earlier. If you didn't hear them, I'm going Louisville out of the Pittsburgh Regional. I've got Nebraska. I've got Oregon upsetting Wisconsin, and I've got, unfortunately, I think Texas is going to take care of Stanford. So I've got 3 2s getting to Tampa, the 1-1 being Nebraska to make it to the Final Four. Crypto King in our chat room, he's chalk. He's all chalk. He's got Stanford, Wisconsin, Nebraska, Pitt, all number ones getting there. Somebody in the text line wanted to know why I'm picking Oregon. I thought they looked great against Purdue last night. I really did. They play so fast, a fast tempo. I think that will bother the Badgers a little bit. And honestly, I think Wisconsin has been susceptible. They have a couple of losses here in the last few weeks. They lost at Penn State. Purdue beat them early in the year. I just think the style of Oregon is going to bother Wisconsin. Would I bet my life on it? No. But I'm just, if somebody asked me to throw out my picks, that's why I'm throwing out those picks. But, let's see, you've got Dryce in the chat room says, it would not surprise if Oregon beats Wisconsin or that Louisville beats Pitt. There's going to be something, right? I don't think you're going to have 4. Crypto, maybe you're right. We used to call Jeff Colhane Chalk because he would always, when we filled out our NCAA basketball brackets, he would always have like 3 number 1s make the Final Four. I just think you're going to have some really tight matches tomorrow, and I think you're going to have some 2s beat some 1s tomorrow. And I just you can never count out Texas. Texas, I thought, and here's another thing. Texas last night was facing a match point against Tennessee. And I thought to myself, this better happen now, because sometimes if you skirt by a match like that, and they did, they came back, won the 4th set, and then went 16-14 in the 5th. That propels you on. And so, to me, Stanford has looked a little iffy. Stanford had to go 5 last weekend to beat Houston. I just feel like Texas got their slide-by match last night. I think they're going to be tough to beat by the Ducks late in the night. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. Text me your Final Four, or if you're in the chat room tonight, we got a lot of you in there tonight. Go ahead and fire those off there as well. Give me your Army-Navy pick tomorrow, too. I think it's going to be a terrific football game. That's on my bucket list. I know I've said this for years and years. I want to go to that game sometime. Army-Navy, just to be a part of that whole thing. All right, 402-413-2400. Text lines, phone lines open. We're back with more of the show coming up next.
Maybe your hometown celebrates long-standing Swiss traditions. Cow chip throwing. Or even classic car muscle. Everyone has a hometown, and every hometown has a festival. Cenex wants to hear about yours. That's why we're launching the Hometown Throwdown. Tell us about your fest, and it could win $100,000. Learn more at CenexHometownThrowdown.com. Cenex, powered locally.
Welcome to Sue's Frame Shop.
Yes, can you frame these, please?
These are Nebraska Lottery Holiday Classic Scratch tickets.
I know. Isn't the classic Christmas artwork on them just charming? Now, be sure not to smudge it when you frame them.
But if you scratch them and enter non-winning tickets online, you could win up to $20,000.
Give me those. Here's a quarter. Let's start scratching.
Promotion ends January 3rd, 2024. Top prize odds vary by game.
Shop smarter online for your next vehicle with Buy Now from Woodhouse. Car buying 100% online from your local trusted auto partner. Easily compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected cars, trucks, and SUVs' features, capabilities, and payments. Conveniently apply for financing and complete your paperwork for purchase 100% online, anytime from anywhere. Plus, we'll deliver it to your driveway. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails. Dress up for a night out on the town or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the Trail-Tamin 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Welcome to Sue's Frame Shop.
Yes, can you frame these, please?
These are Nebraska Lottery Holiday Classic Scratch tickets.
I know. Isn't the classic Christmas artwork on them just charming? Now, be sure not to smudge it when you frame them.
But if you scratch them and enter non-winning tickets online, you could win up to $20,000.
Give me those. Here's a quarter. Let's start scratching.
Promotion ends January 3rd, 2024. Top prize odds vary by game.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
It's time to light up the season during the Make the Holidays Bright sales event. Get our best offers and choose from a huge selection of Ford F-150 trucks with the capability, convenience, and technology to help bring us together. Wow. Discover how Ford F-150 can make the holidays bright. Now, get a new 2023 Ford F-150 with 2.9% financing for 72 months. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Hey, Husker fans, it's Matt Davison with the 1890 Initiative. As we get ready to celebrate 1890's one-year anniversary, I'm proud to say the 1890 Initiative now represents 150 Husker student athletes in 9 sports. And with your help, we can keep 1890 going strong, helping student athletes get the most from their name, image, and likeness, and preparing them for life after college. Visit 1890nebraska.com to learn more about NIL and 1890 and contribute today.
Woodhouse Auto Family, they're your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. 402-413-2400, the number if you want to be a part of the program with a call or a text. Art in Los Angeles did text in and said, Greg, I agree with you on Amy Williams. She did not run up the score the other night. She did everything you could. I watched that game. It could have been Huskers could have scored 130 points. Amy played everybody. There was nothing else she could have done to slow down that game. I'm with you, Art, and that's what I clearly said. I'm not blaming Amy on this, but there is a flaw to me in the net rankings that, you know, coaches are tempted if they're up 25 or even if they're like 20 to not empty their bench late in the game and try to get it to 30 or 35-point difference because they know it helps the net. I just think that's a flaw in the system, and I think a lot of coaches would agree with that. That's not the way that should be. It's fairly quiet around the stadium tonight. This is a weekend you could have official visitors for Husker football, but I talked about this in hour one. You've got 25 young men that are going to sign in a couple weeks on December the 20th for the football class. Most of them have taken their official visits. Most, not all, most. So you still could have a couple. And the transfer portal, I don't think, obviously Nebraska's looking for quarterbacks, maybe an offensive lineman, maybe a running back in there. We may have some of those visits happening in the coming weeks. But I don't think Nebraska's going to go get double-digit numbers out of the portal this year. We've done that the last couple of years under Scott Frost and last year under Coach Rural. But there's the numbers problem for Nebraska right now that they're over the 85. And so I don't think they're going to go add 10, 12 guys from the portal this year. I think it'll be more like 5. In fact, I set the over-under last hour at 5. I think that's kind of where it's going to be. There is some news, and you can take a quarterback off of your quarterback bingo card, as Blake Shapen, the young man from Baylor, has announced on social media that he is committed to Mississippi State and their new head coach, Jeff Lebby, who was Oklahoma's offensive coordinator this past year. So Shapen, who I think Nebraska did go talk to. Obviously, Matt Rural's got a connection to that program and that young man because he's been playing at Baylor, and Coach Rural and some of the guys on his staff were recruiting Blake when this staff was down in Waco before Coach left to go to the NFL for the Carolina Panthers. So Blake is off the board. There is a lot of smoke around and talk that Nebraska has offered Kyle McCord, the young man that's leaving Ohio State. There is talk that he may be coming for a visit to Lincoln in the coming days. We'll monitor that. He's not here this weekend and not expected to be here this weekend, maybe early next week, but we'll keep an eye on that. But there's a lot of names out there, and I think there's going to be more added to it. I mentioned this also in hour one. You've got guys that I think are going to go take advantage of playing in a bowl game, and then maybe after the bowl game go, I'm ready for the portal, and go. And that the portal is open into January a week or two, so there's certainly – and why wouldn't you do that, right? Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you go get the swag at the bowl game and have one more go with your current teammates and then go and get in the portal? So I don't think it's totally imperative that you have that happen right now to get a quarterback. You'd obviously, if you got one you like and you feel like he would fit what you want to do, you go get it done. But I think there's still some names that are going to be continuing to pop into that portal as we make our way through. They are on ESPN tonight announcing the college football awards. Tory Taylor, the outstanding punter of the Iowa Hawkeyes, just won the Ray Guy Award. It goes to the nation's top punter. The Outland Trophy, which goes to the nation's top interior lineman, goes to a defensive guy. Trevondre Sweat from Texas will be the Outland Trophy winner for 2023. The Outland Trophy dinner is in Omaha on January the 10th, so Sweat will be making his way to Omaha for that big presentation. That is a fun night. I've been an honor to be a part of that ceremony for a number of years. So Sweat from Texas is this year's Outland Trophy winner. The other finalists were Cooper Beebe from K-State and Alt, an offensive tackle from Notre Dame, were the three finalists for the Outland Trophy. That night in Omaha, January the 10th, is the date of that dinner. They also will honor the Husker Senior Award winners. Those have been voted on in the last couple of days by the media that cover Husker football. They have not yet announced who those winners are. They will prior to January the 10th. So we'll know who's going to be in Omaha that night to be honored. It's a fun night. You have the Husker Award winners. You have the Outland Trophy winner there as well. And then we've had in the last 5 or 6 years the Tom Osborne Legacy Award winner. And this year it's going to be a longtime high school football coach from the state of Iowa that's going to be honored for his contributions to the sport of football. Speaking of winners, we're going to have our winners and losers coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Boy, Tory Taylor, they're talking to him right now on ESPN. That was amazing. I mean, the number of punts that he put inside a team's 10-yard lines, heck, inside the team's 5-yard lines was really impressive. I didn't think he was overly great against the Huskers a couple of weeks ago. He was okay, but I didn't think he had one of his better days that day. But, boy, if you watched Iowa football throughout the fall, you saw him do that numerous times. He was a big part of that Iowa game plan because they were so deficient at times offensively. They had to win and win decisively the special teams battle, and he was such a big part of that as well. All right, 402-413-2400. We'll slip a break in, wrap up the night show, including getting winners and losers from Duke and Cole as we get ready to head you into another weekend. All that coming up next.
It's time to light up the season during the Make the Holidays Bright sales event. Get our best offers and choose from a huge selection of Ford F-150 trucks with the capability, convenience, and technology to help bring us together. Wow. Discover how Ford F-150 can make the holidays bright. Now, get a new 2023 Ford F-150 with 2.9% financing for 72 months. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Welcome to Sue's Frame Shop.
Yes, can you frame these, please?
These are Nebraska Lottery Holiday Classic Scratch tickets.
I know. Isn't the classic Christmas artwork on them just charming? Now, be sure not to smudge it when you frame them.
But if you scratch them and enter non-winning tickets online, you could win up to $20,000.
Give me those. Here's a quarter. Let's start scratching.
Promotion ends January 3rd, 2024. Top prize odds vary by game.
Husker fans, this Saturday, your number one ranked Husker volleyball team is set to host the quarterfinals of the NCAA tournament against the Arkansas Razorbacks. Your postseason coverage is presented by John Henry's, the official plumbing, HVAC, and electrical partner of Nebraska Athletics, bringing you all the action on the Husker Radio Network. Broadcast coverage starts on Saturday at 4 with first serve at 5. Listen online or on the air. Go Big Red.
Bananas are only 39 cents a pound at Hy-Vee. That's not a sale price. That's the price with the Hy-Vee Perks membership. And 39 cents a pound is not just the price today or this week. It's the Perks price every day. With the Hy-Vee Perks membership, you can save on hundreds of products store-wide every time you shop. And count on Perks prices to stay the same. So if you want to pay less for bananas every day, sign up for Hy-Vee Perks. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Get ready again for some Nebraska farm facts. When there's work to be done, Nebraska soybeans are on the job in many of your everyday products. In fact, Nebraska soybeans are hard at work in Goodyear tires, Ford cars and trucks, Skechers shoes, asphalt, fuels, lubricants, name brand paints and stains, and more. Soybeans are an innovative replacement for petroleum, leading to more sustainable products all over the world. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest premier John Deere dealer. Acres has solutions for every field. Back for our final segment of the night. Final segment of the week. We'll have a busy day tomorrow. Women's basketball at 1, pregame at 12:30. Husker volleyball, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock for pregame as they take on the Arkansas Razorbacks with a trip to the Final Four on the line tomorrow. Will we save the last segment of our Friday shows for winners and losers? We've not had, and Cole probably can tell me, we have not had a Friday show maybe since October, Cole? I don't think we have we?
Probably early October.
Because last Friday night we had Husker volleyball. And then you go back, you had the Iowa game, you had some basketball games in there, some volleyball matches on Friday. So, yeah, I think you got to go back 2 months since we've had this segment of winners and losers. Duke's going to play along with us tonight. Cole, I'm going to give you the honor, though, of giving your winners and your losers first.
The winner for me is the incredible amount of Nebraska volleyball players who racked up postseason awards. First team, second team, All-Americans. Just, it's unbelievable how many things they do.
Yeah, we just made a run through the conference, and now we're starting to see the national awards come in. It's just crazy for that.
Yes. My loser, not really one person. It's the state of professional golf, because you had thought when LIV and PGA had merged, or they made that, I don't know if it was even contractually agreed on, but some agreement that they would work together. I don't know. It seems that might be falling apart. It's just a mess, and it's sad to see.
And now John Rahm goes to LIV, signed reportedly like a $300 million deal to go. But you're right. I mean, this summer there was that big earth-shattering announcement that the two sides had agreed to not merge, but to play nice with each other. But nothing really has happened. So if I'm a PGA guy, and Liv's offered all this kind of big money, and I'm like, well, if they're going to play nice and they're going to allow me to play in majors, why wouldn't I do the money grab? But it's really divided the game up a little bit. It's made it messy. That's a good one. All right, Duke, here you go. What do you have?
All right, my winner is Jazz Shelley.
Woo!
She had that triple-double against Greensboro, 19 points. It looked like she was going to get in the first half, really. She's been playing great. The whole team's been playing great, too. A lot to look forward to with the Husker basketball.
Second time, I think, in her career she's got a triple-double. Does that sound right?
Yeah, second time. Fifth time in program history.
Good player. Going to need a good effort out of her tomorrow against Sparty. All right, how about your loser?
All right, my loser is Damian Lillard and pretty much the whole Milwaukee Bucks. Damian Lillard, Pre-game before the game against the Pacers yesterday in the regular season tournament, he was seen touching the trophy. And, of course, one of the biggest things is bad luck to touch the trophy. And that's what happened to Damian Lillard. He had 4 points in the first half, and the Bucks lose, all because of Damian Lillard, it looks like.
So you've been following this in-season tournament for the NBA. First year they've ever done something like this. How's it been?
It's been strange. It's been really strange. I think no one in the entire world knows what's going on, really. That's the biggest thing. None of the players know. None of the fans know. But, hey, it's extra basketball. It's more competitive, so what can't go wrong?
It seems like the people who follow the NBA have liked it. They feel like it's kind of added a little spice to the regular season. They jimmy up the courts. They play on different colored courts. Those have been kind of wild. Yeah. Some I like. Some I'm like, whoo. Can't even hardly watch the game on that. But you're a pretty big NBA guy. It got your attention, didn't it?
I mean, yeah, for sure. You can't not pay attention when the courts are, a different color like that. And then, yeah, the atmosphere in all these games have been insane, too. It really feels like a playoff environment in the middle of December, which so far it seems like it's a good thing for the NBA, this regular season tournament.
Are we down to the finals?
Yeah, tomorrow, Pacers-Lakers in the finals.
And they're giving out, bonuses, right? For the team that wins gets a big check.
I think every player on the team gets $500K, which is insane. Yeah.
So there's a real incentive.
Oh, yeah.
There's been an incentive for these guys to play through this.
Oh, yeah. And the Pacers, they have the most, if I'm not mistaken, they have the most rookie contracts in the league. So this $500K can go a lot for these players.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah. All right. Keep an eye on that over the weekend. All right. My winner is Alex Gordon, the former Husker named earlier this week to the newest class for the College Baseball Hall of Fame. Well-deserved honor. He was so amazing. He was the player of the year his last season in college baseball, put up unbelievable numbers, top 5 pick of the Royals then when he came out of the draft, led Nebraska to the College World Series, helped Nebraska win their only College World Series game where they got a victory up in Omaha. We haven't been back since Alex's time on the team, and just a terrific athlete, great player, Husker Hall of Famer, all of the above, and so well-earned, well-deserved for Alex. That's great for him. That will be taking place. The ceremony will be in Kansas City in February. We'll get Alex on before that to talk about. He doesn't like to talk about himself, so it'll be like pulling teeth to get him to even recognize that this happened. But Alex is my winner. My losers, and I was going to go. I was thinking about the NFL and how bad some of the officiating has been in some of these late games. It was not very good again last night, late in the Steelers and Patriots game. It was horrible at the end of the Chiefs-Packers game. Don't get me wrong, the Chiefs deserved to lose that game, but it was a clear PI late in the game that it did not call. But I'm actually going to go with the College Football Playoff Committee. I feel like they just took the easy way out by leapfrogging Texas and Alabama over the top of an undefeated Florida State team, and some of their logic was flimsy. Do I think Florida State, without Travis, is one of the best 4 teams? Maybe not, but I think that team deserved a shot because they went undefeated during the year, and they will have the backup quarterback ready and available for what would have been the semifinal game. He wasn't available for the Louisville game and the ACC title game because he was in concussion protocol, but I think he would have been ready to play in the bowl game. And, TCU was not favored last year to beat Michigan, and they did. So I just, all this stuff, well, they wouldn't be favored. I don't really care. I think what Florida State did, I think they got robbed of the chance to do that. So the committee, my losers of the week. Any strong opinions on that, Cole?
I got nothing.
All right, that does it. Duke, thanks. Cole, thank you. Guys, great show tonight. A lot of great coverage of the volleyball match tomorrow. Busy day on the network. Women at 1 on the hardwood up in East Lansing against Michigan State. Volleyball match at 5 at PBA. Woodhouse Auto Family, they are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Have a great weekend. We'll recap it all for you on Monday night. Jessica's back as well. Have yourself a good weekend. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sap Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sap Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sap Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sap Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails. Dress up for a night out on the town, or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the trail-taming 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point